And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the semifinals, the semifinals here of the Sparkling Tuna Cup number 134. We are back. We've returned here in the PTR, of course, with our upper semis and spawning in the. I forgot to do that. God damn it! Hold on. I forgot to do it. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shop Rebellion. It is ByuN. Do we have this set up? No. God, it's not Shin. Hold on. There we go. And spawning in the right-hand corner, we have the French Zerg player, the French Zerg player himself. It is Shino. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we delve into our initial best of 3 semi-finals. We're here in those semifinalists, and how will this turn out? Who will come out on top? Coming into this, ByuN is the reigning champion. Of course, that is true, but we're on the PTR. You know, there are players still experimenting, exploring certain aspects of said PTR as well. And Shino already caused a big upset, bringing down Nickrat earlier. Can he make another upset occur? Can he bring down ByuN? It is going to be a mountain to climb, but you know what? I believe, Fabi, I believe. Give it to us, Shino. Give it to us. As now, just a standard opener here, once again going for a later gas geyser. So delayed gas out of our Zerg, just going a hatch into pool. Hatch pool opener. Likewise, we do have ByuN going for zone or Rax expand with a gas geyser, Reaper first, which is a much more standard opener. We've been we've been submerged in non-stop gases openers from Home Mono, just following him the entire tournament. But here we can finally go for a standard build here, Reaper opener, gases early on, into CC on the low ground. So far, so good. Just conversing regarding our schedule. As Reaper does move out, will be threading the middle line. So far, Shino is keeping up, and he does morph in a spore in time. Oh my god, the drone's getting low. He gets one, still gets one. Drone kill early on. Again, the queen is going to be a little bit later here. The Lings are trying to keep up. And so far, nice damage out of ByuN, killing a drone and forcing out extra spores. As ByuN is not done. Yeah, ByuN is not done. Catching out of the Zergling. Does catch a Zergling. Gonna be forced back as Shino, he does pull out of gas, getting to link speed into a later third expansion. Staying on 2 bases a little bit longer, which has become more of the norm in recent times and recent ZVTs. Once again, ByuN does look for a way in. Looking for a way in. Does threaten it. Jesus. Queen's in position. The Reaper should go down. Does get a full scout, and we're pulling back in the gas real fast and real quick. As the Queens, they get stuck on each other, but there we go. Reaper goes down. We have pulled back in the gas, and this is looking like another fast lair. Oh, no. Baneliness first. Never mind. Earlier Baneliness, very late third base in comparison, by the way. That is a... Oh, going to be a, what, a 4:30 third base timing? Interesting. ByuN, he didn't scout the Baneliness. Are we just going for a bust? Are we just going all in? We have built up excess Lings, but Shino supply blocked. No, yeah, brutal supply block. But it looks like the plan here is to all in. Lings are revealed. Yep, 10 more Lings are on the way. It is for the bust. So now we can... Oh, nice round. Very nice round. But now we know why we saw Shino go for the early gas income. Now we know why we have such a late third. And likewise, the earlier Bailey Nest. We're going for the bust. And back at home, ByuN is not aware, but he does go for his own 1-1-1. Very safe opener here by ByuN. Later third CC, earlier Hellions, more importantly, earlier Banshees. What is the answer to the Banshee? This Banshee, if he can find the Link Bane, he can just focus on the Banelings instantly. No, he sees! Oh my god, he does pull the Banelings, and with that, the Lings are denied. Banelings as well. Oof. Yeah, brutal scouts. ByuN does miss the rest of the army. Again, it's all or nothing for Shino. It's all or nothing. Banelings they waddle in. Oof. Yeah, they waddle into the bases. They're getting into the mineral line. And trying to collapse forward here so far. A couple of SCVs go down, a couple of Hellions as well, but there's not enough. There's not enough damage. GG gets called. The all-in fails, and ByuN will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, a very shaky start for Shino. Did decide to go for the all-in, and ByuN, unfortunately for Shino, he scouted the Banelings morphing in on the left-hand side. He did scout not just that, but ByuN was blindly going for a 1-1-1. That's already naturally a safer build out of ByuN. He was not cutting corners, he was not being economic, he was being more aggressive, and that meant he had a stronger defense as he had more units than normal. GG. GG, well played. With that, ByuN, he does defend, he does survive, he does take a lead in the series. Now we're loading into game. One of us going to be loading into Mothership. Let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Mothership, we have the, so we have to flip our players over. We have our South Korean Terran player. We have our, bam, there we go. We have our red Terran representing Shopify, leading the series 1-0. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Zerg player, the blue Zerg player himself from Letter France, down in the series. Can he bounce back? Can we make a series out of this? It is Shino. Shino. There we go. That's where we were just setting things up. But here we go. We are going to be opening. We are going to be settling in. And so far, we have our initial openers. Welcome to Mothership. Mothership is a larger map of the map pool, longer rush distance by ground. More importantly, a 3-player spawn map as well. You can spawn in top right, top left, and bottom side as well. So 3 possible spawn locations. We can see that Shino does scout bottom side first, and it's going to be a delayed scout from Shino as ByuN is top left. Meanwhile, ByuN going for a standard opener. It is not uncommon for Terran players to go for a CC first on this map, but especially based off of the attempted Bane bust, it makes sense for ByuN to be a little bit more tentative early on and go for a safer start and not take the risk of a faster command center. Speaking of not taking a risk, I mean, we see pool first out of Shino, so we can see some reasoning behind this and then some truth behind it. He wants to play it safe. We can see there's going to be pool first, but no early gases. True. So a pool hatch opener into a later gas geyser from Shino. This means we can get early link production, we can get early queens more importantly, but later gas, later link speed. As the pool is done and we are going for the earlier queen, not Zerglings. So just earlier queen here. As we turn, as we saturate. We are skipping lings. Skipping. Shino, he does move out bottom right, just scouting the southern half of the map. Again, as I mentioned, going to be a delayed scout of the main base of ByuN. It's the RNG pack. Meanwhile, ByuN does so go for the risk. He does rush past the queen. Now there's nothing in the main. No, the queen is out of position off of creep, and with that we can just wreak havoc here in the main base. How many drone kills? Link pops out just in time. Ooh, okay. Just in time to zone, just in time to defend. So Shino does hold. Behind this, ByuN going for his own racks into factory, and we'll see if he goes for an economic build this time. Remember last game there was no third CC whatsoever out of ByuN. We'll see if he does it again. Yep, there it is, 1-1-1. So reacted Hellion production into Cloak Banshee. Very aggressive build here by ByuN, aggressive slash safe in that sense, just because he's fixated on early game aggression, on early unit production. And Shino, he does not pull into gas. So last game we did take note of the fact that he was mining gas early on, which led into the Bane Bust. This time we are fully out of gas. Pulled out. Pulls out completely. Just droning, just saturating. Looking to get into this time a much more standard macro game, as we have a much more standard third base timing as well. Remember, this time last game there was no third in production. It was a very late third. Let it expand. So again, the Hellions, they do threaten a dive. They threaten the dive. Extra racks are on the way. We're committing even harder here on 2 bases, actually. Okay, so ByuN has gotten past the 1-1-1 phase, going to stim, going for 2 more maxes, and going for a much, much later third CC. You have my attention. You do have my attention here. Likewise, Shino going into double Evo chambers first, so double chamber, double upgrades. This is quite greedy out of the Zerg player. Basically, Shino, he's delaying his own lair and delaying his Baneling Nest in favor of 1-1 upgrades, but he gets scouted. Yeah, the Banshee does confirm, getting 1 drone kill so far. Gets the 1, 2, 3 drones going down. Like, but jeez, this bench is getting out of hand. The Hellions are getting in. The Hellions are busting into the mineral line. 11 drones going to be getting roasted here. 11 drones, 12 drones. Do we get a queen? No spore? Oh, no lair. No lair, no spore in the main base. Lair begins at 6 minutes. Shino, he just noticed. Yeah, you could see he tried to morph in an overseer, and then he realized, oh, I don't have a lair. 6-minute lair is insane. The cloak runs out. That's the only reason why the Banshee goes down here, but that is critical damage. 16 drone kills. Ay, ay, ay. And we're not done. We're not done, papi. Oh, God. Por favor. ByuN. Calm down, papi. Calm down. This is going to go further in. He's going to go further in here. Can we get 20 drones? What a mass. Oof. I mean, again, there's still no mobile detection. The Banshee does find 1 more 20. 20 drones go down for 2 Banshees and a handful of Hellions that were not done. Here comes the main push. Here comes the main army. And again, Shino, he just now finishes up his own lair. Baneling Nest is still on the way. 1-1 upgrades may be able to kick in time, but is there going to be much of an army? We got 6 lings. Soon to be 20 vanilla Zerglings. I say vanilla, they're going to have 1-1 upgrades. But without Banelings, these Marines, they can stim and they can win. They can stim, they can win. They push on forward, tanks sieging up as well. Queens, they move forward. I mean, the Queens, they can tank. They have transfuse. They can try to hold the line. Oof. Nice kiting out of ByuN. Massive tank shots going off. Lings, they cannot engage. They can't move in. He stims, then he gets the Queens. Yeah, the Queens are folding one after the other. No more transfuse energy. Down to 5 Queens. Yeah, down to 5. Down to 4. 1 more tank shot. Down to 3. Down to 2. 2 Queens left. Oof. And we're rallying. At this point, we're rallying across the map. Here come the reinforcements. That's 2 queens remaining after that fight. You have more queens now spawning in. We got some slow banes on the way. Let's go. The slow banes, pappy. And this is getting out of hand. It's getting out of hands. Oof. Now the queen gets 1 shot. There may be enough Ling Bane built up here to collapse on this army. There is a decent chunk of Ling Bane. And slow Bane shouldn't connect, but Ling should be able to lock down the army. Speaking of, yeah, Ling's they try to collapse in. Nice kiting out of ByuN. Yeah, so far, nice kiting. He pulls away. Both tanks go down, and Shino's holding. Shino, he's holding on. He's holding, he's defending, he's surviving, but he is down in workers, he's down in economy. We can see that ByuN, he has the equivalent worker count plus mules. Ideally, the Zerg player wants to be ahead in workers and ahead in bases. That's not exactly the case here for the Zerg, so Shino, he's stumbling his way into the mid game, but he did survive at least. That's the first step here on the road to recovery. He survives. Oh. Meanwhile, drop into the mineral line. There's not many drones to kill. He gets 2. Catching out 2 workers. Yeah. So far, catching up 2 drones, likewise reinforcing across the map. More creep is receding. Receding the creep. And ByuN is getting a 4th. 4 CCs on the way. Drilling cores getting to 2-2 upgrades. We can see Shino trying to stabilize, building up into Hydra Tech, Hydras, alongside Hive Tech as well. Oh, decent bathing connections. Okay. Does catch 8 Marines. 7, sorry. 7 Marines go down. Now, is there a world where we can try to stabilize on Hive Tech on Lurkers? I'm assuming that the direction here is to go into Hydras, into Lurker Tech, and to build up a Lurker count. Can Shino get there? Shino. Hive is morphing in. The Lings will go for a big counterattack. The last ByuN is in position. Deflects the Zerglings. ByuN going for his own backstab, and he does find a free base. Oof. Yeah, this hatchery is going to go down. There is no saving it. No saving it back. Yeah, Zibbers, they show up to harass, catching out 9 drones. Do we get a queen? He does. Queen as well. Catching a queen, catching workers. Both armies are maxing out. But again, we do have to say that ByuN's army is currently that much stronger, that much more efficient. At least until we really embrace our Hive Tech, right? The Hive is done, true, but what have we done with the Hive? So far, there's no Adrenal. Adrenal just now beginning. There's no Lurker Den, there's no Hive Tech upgrades, there's no Vipers either, there's no Spellcasters. So despite having the Hive, the army itself is still Lair Tech. It is still Lair Tech army. ByuN moving in. Pushing between the bases. Dying expansion. That's a kill, not a cancel. Is a kill. Shino catching out some of the Widow Mines. Not bad. Shino. Oof. So you see another cancellation. ByuN is still building up. We got 3-3 on the horizon for the Terran. No Academy yet, I believe. Yeah, there's no Academy. There's no Fusion Core. Ultra Cavern. Okay, not Lurker. getting into ultras. Which is fine, we just ideally wanted this tech a little bit earlier. Did one a little bit earlier here as Marines A busts into the main base, catching out 4 more drones. Shino looking to break out. Can he break this position? It's one of those things where ByuN's bases have been left untouched so far. Survive this entire game, untouched. Taking more bases, taking more expansions. Pressure's on Shino. Pressure's on. Academy's now done. Ghost production has begun for ByuN. Oh no, the wide shot! Oof. Okay, Del split. Del splits, running into a wall of tanks. Oh my god, it's a lot of tank shots going off. Marines, they respond, they punish the Bailings. That with that Bailings, they cannot get in. Takes down, what, 2 tanks? Yeah, 2 tanks go down, but in the end, ByuN, he does hold. At the same time, deflected across the map. So underway. His own back, his own away. And how many ghosts do we have now? 3. Okay, we're slowly incorporating our ghosts. 3 ghosts so far. Ultra Tech is getting there at this point here for Shino, but he needs an opportunity to actually build up his ultras. He needs an opportunity to have a bit of a trade to free up some supply and start incorporating ultras. Nice catch. Nice catch in the medevac. I would also say that at this point, ByuN, he has reached capacity here when it comes to how safe these bases are. The initial 5 base setup here is very secure on Mothership. The 6th base is going to be more exposed, especially the 7th moving forward as well. This is where Shino should be able to take over the entirety of the map. And should start prioritizing those fringe bases. Getting into the late game. At this point, going into ultras, I don't know if that's the correct move. Like, again, like ByuN, he's very well set up for the late game. What do I mean by that? SimCity, Ghosts, Tanks, into Liberators, Fusion Cores on the way as well. I feel like the window for ultras was like 4 minutes ago, right? Like the ultra tech would have been more viable earlier. At this stage of the game, it's not about ultras anymore, it's about Broodlords. Just because of how secure ByuN is. Nice catch on the Ghost. He gets what he gets to. 2 Ghosts go down. But ultras trying to break this, like a wall of tanks, planetaries, and SimCity. With ByuN already making the switch into mech with Blue Flame, with vehicle upgrades. I feel like we've already missed our window here. Like, I feel like the ultras, they finally come online, but it's too late. The window's closed. Likewise, Shino cannot let this base get up and running. No shot. Cannot let it get up. For now, though, Shino is distracted by the double drop and is unaware. That is concerning. Spires are finishing. Greater Spires on the way. As ByuN just poking out. And again, Thors are on the way. When it comes to, if you're curious, when it comes to the ideal late game Terran TvZ composition, it is Ghost Mech, like Mech alongside Ghost, with like Tank, Liberator Thor, decent Blinding Clouds. First Planetary is going to fall, but just a Planetary. Ideally, over time, ByuN wants to get rid of these Marines. Well, he wants to get rid of the Marauders and replace them with Liberators, with Ghosts, with Tanks, with Thors. Maybe some Vikings once we get into Broodlord tech. But that's why we see that mech switch. Even just making Fire Bats or Hell Bats. The other scary moment here that just occurred, it's like very subtle, but ByuN has now taken a 6th expansion. This base should have been much more difficult to take. And unfortunately, Shino doesn't know, right? The reason why this base is getting up and running is because Shino has no idea. He doesn't know, Bap. He doesn't know. That's going to be a big power spike here for ByuN. Is a fresh mining base. The other scary thing that we mentioned previously as well, as we do see Shino moving in, pushing to the center, gets a tank, gets one. One tank goes down, going for the Planetary. Ooh, snipes to punish. A lot of snipes going off. But the other scary thing here that we mentioned earlier is the bases that Shino has and the mining and the saturation. Shino has this expansion, technically, but there's 0 mining going on. Technically, this is ByuN's base that is just fresh for the taking. Likewise, same with this base here and this base here. Because Shino has had so much map control, he needs these bases soon, and he has to pull the boys and saturate these bases as quickly as possible. Even just pull them from this location, pull from this location, and prioritize those bases before ByuN takes them himself. Otherwise, right now, the bank is deceiving, right? Shino has a large mineral and gas bank. That is true, technically larger than ByuN when it comes to minerals, but ByuN can always take these, like these bases are still fresh for the taking for ByuN. They're still fresh bases. ByuN can eventually break out and take these bases himself. As things, they do surround the Thors, not bad. Catching out 1, 2 Thors. In a sense, these bases here, this is ByuN's bank, right? This is his bank. His future bank. ByuN taking the northern base as well. Unless we see otherwise, right? Unless Shino starts to take them. Shino now it does. There we go. Now it does main arch towards the south side. Oh, the Viper. Yeah, Viper goes down. Yeah, brutal pickoff. Thors they collapse in. Yeah, the Ultras they push forward. They try to get on top of the Thors. Not quite able to. Oh my god, it's a meat grinder. So many tanks. The tanks they punish. Got that ByuN. He's gaining ground. Gaining more ground, pushing further forward. There's a fungal, but there's no follow-up. The reality here, there's no follow-up to the fungal. Does not matter. Corruptors are on the way for the eventual Broodlords. Broodlords are coming. They're coming from behind. Trying to collapse forward. Catching out 1, 2, 3 tanks. Not a bad lunge. 3 tanks going down. 11 Broodlords now on the way. How many ghosts? 10. There's 10 ghosts so far. ByuN's pushing very deep on creep here. What's going on? Does a roll, but this is a really risky maneuver here from ByuN. He does snipe the infestors early on, ahead of time. And now we have Broodlords moving forward here, but there's only 1 infestor left. Yeah, Shino was premature. He was too premature when it came to his fight. He lost his infestors. Base goes down. Broodlords are coming in, but it's too late. We'll get a Thor. Okay. Might even get 2. 2 Thors get caught. Very nice. Fungal does land. But the ghosts do get away. Some okay pickles here out of Shino. Oh, but the Liberators, geez, 20, I was curious. I was like, 27 drones? No, the Liberators, they shut down both bases here on the south side. 27 drone kills. Ay, ay, ay. And we're not done. No, he's not done. 30. 35? Oh, God. 34. 34 drones. I say 34. There it is. 35. 36. 37. 39 as we're killing more, and again Shino's just torn apart. He's torn apart here. ByuN pushing on the top side. Broodlords are stuck in the middle. Where are we going? How do we respond? No. And this is game ending damage. This is game ending damage at this point. Broodlord's going to the top side. Another base falls. There's too much freedom, Babby. Too much.
Paused.
As oh, looks like there's a little bit of latency going on. Hopefully everything's okay. ByuN does call for a pause. Oh. Yeah, it does go for a bit of a pause, and hopefully things are able to settle down. Bearing in mind, of course, that there is no Korean server. Shino's like, Pappy, you're good to go. Like, Shino, no, it's okay. Shino. There we go.
Game resumed.
Feels bad, man. Hard, because I mean, hey, look, as winding it back a little bit here, shout out to Shino for actually making it to this game state as well against ByuN. Like, there were definitely opportunities where Shino had a larger bank, and potentially could have built up a greater economy as well. But there were a couple of key moments here that did work in ByuN's favor. We spoke about ByuN claiming this southern base, for example, which was completely uncontested, where Shino never had a vision on this base. If he had vision, if he had an Overlord, a Zergling, anything here to check, then I'm sure he would have fought ByuN for it, by the way, and we could have seen a very different outcome coming into a longer game stage. And also, fighting for this expansion would have prompted Shino to take the southern bases as well, right? Because then he would recognize that ByuN's going to break out, and that would place a little bit more urgency of Shino on Shino as well. There were just a couple of key moments that, yeah, ByuN was able to pop up in. The northern base is a similar story, where this base was taken much later and Shino wasn't able to contest or apply pressure. We spoke earlier about the late hive, right? Late hive, late ultra cavern, late hive tech as a composition, to the point where I would still stand by saying that the ultra tech was just at a really late timing. Unfortunately, it did hit quite late, to the point where by the time they hit, like, it was past their prime. Spirit was coming from behind, getting a Thor. Catching a Thor, catching a couple of tanks as well. The Scythes, oh my god, the Scythes, they pop up. We try to go for the neural. We attempt that, we do neural a couple of Thors. Yeah, Thors are neuraled, and with that, Shino, he will take this fight, but not without losing a base. The base went down, the mineral line went down. Likewise, we go for the Thor drop, going for another expansion. Shino, he had a 7k bank, now down to 300 minerals. Shino, he has no mining, he has no economy, he has no bank. And no bank remaining. Shino's broke, Pappy. He's broke. ByuN still pumping out Thors. More Thors, more ghosts. At this point, I think we've abandoned tank production, right? But yeah, only two. Vikings out in the mix to help against the Broodlords. ByuN, he rotates to the top side. Broodlords, of course, are very immobile. They're stuck here towards the southern half of the map. They're slowly coming back. They're coming. By the time they arrive, though, it's going to be another base falling. ByuN pushing towards the natural, tempted to move in. Yeah, the temptation is there. So we had Fungal lands, but there's not much of a follow-up. Nice Mining Cloud. Nice Mining Cloud overall. Ultras, they catch out some of the ghosts, they pick off some of the Thors. But we still have a line of Thors behind us. They're coming in. The Thors are coming. Yeah, the concave of Thors, Bappy, as they focus on the broods. And then just on a move, GG gets called, and ByuN, he will claim the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played, congratulations. ByuN, he will claim the series. Once again, shout out to Shino for making a game out of that as well. Game 1 was a little more shaky, and even Game 2 had a shakier moment as well when we saw Shino lose a bunch of workers early on to the Banshee harass even. That happened like 20 minutes ago, but it was crazy. But we saw Shino recover. He recovered. He was able to build up into a maxed out composition. As we mentioned, there were a couple of key moments where he was unable to deter the economy of ByuN. I do think that he had the tools to do so, but it was just lack of vision, lack of scouting, lack of recognition of the game state before him and what ByuN was getting into. So he wasn't quite able to punish ByuN in certain key moments, and with that, ByuN, he just snowballed out of control, built up his army, maxed out, and GG. GG, well played. But shout out to Shino, of course, for making a series out of that. GG. GG, baby, GG.